the area just for fun, right? And then they went in the place. It was just under a tree. Somebody was hanging there because there was a rope hanging from it, and they found a body a few days after, right? And then when he was going, right, he felt a rope mark around him, right? And he felt a very choking feeling. He had felt that he was being choked and everything, and by a rope. And he went to the hospital because he was suffocating. And then he survived, right? And then when he came, he had this scar on him, which were the marks of the same rope on the
person committed suicide.
On the trees, right? That haunting is sort of like the ghost puts the person through what it felt.
One of the things I find is the evidence. Let's come to one of the things. Gasu presented as what do you call it? A picture. Okay. Sometimes when we take camera, some reflections come. Okay. Yeah, I'm focusing here, but I'm not doing anything. But because of the glass and mirror and other things, some reflections sometimes fall on and superimpose. Sometimes reflection is clear. It may be I'm taking a picture and Selva uncle comes there too, even though he sits there. Sometimes it happens very rarely. Sometimes what happens is a blurry, 2-3 people images or sort of a blurry superimposed come on too. Sometimes when you are taking a picture of the light source, a fire or sun on thing, sometimes it also created that sort of what do you call it, blurry things or bright things or some images superimposed on other things. Okay, it's like an equivalent to effect. When you take a picture, sometimes when your hand shake, you get a double image. Then you see that. Yeah, similar to that, rarely it happens too. So photographic images we cannot accept as a firm evidence. We cannot accept as a firm evidence unless somebody else and everyone else come and taking the picture. Every camera it comes again and again because it's not reproducible in that case, right? That's one thing. Yeah. That is one of the instrument error. Here is an instrument error and a perception. Then second thing is when you say what do you call a picture of the what do you call in a forest, right? It was a dark area, a tree, and everything. You know there are some natural plants, lichens, algae. They grow on the bark, tree bark, and everything. They have a self-illuminating thing. There's phosphorus and other chemicals add on to that. It's like a, what do you call it? Minmini puji. What do you call it? Glittering night.
Fireflies.
Ah, yeah. It's like that. Night they goes around. If you see that, it's like a ghost going, right? Yeah. These trees, when it's dark, it reflects on its own. So when you see from the different, you could see the what do you call it? The bright thing glooming or glittering, right? So it is dark. You don't see it, but when you flash the light, that light flash itself created the glittering,
but the
right?
camera had no flash.
Okay, but it could still you
Yeah,
get the.
you can get like the sunlight could be reflected or
That's
any
one
other
thing.
source of light.
Another thing is there are some natural biogases. You know these tree has sometimes the holes and some of the natural what do you call it? These leaves and other thing decay and produce a biogas. You know biogas. People use it for the fuel, right? You can light like a gas cooker, like that. So sometimes it produces naturally. So it may produce fire too on its own. Okay. Sometimes this fire moves with the wind. So back home they say koliwaipe, right? There's a fire moving around. Usually around the cremation ground because when the body is the decay or partially cremated, another thing, all these natural gases release methane and other thing. Sometimes they get what do you call it, move around these things. Okay. Yeah, so that's the evidence. So when you see it with your eyes, also sometimes what you see is true, but that not what you think that it is not true. You see a light or flash or glittering thing, you perceive that could be a ghost, but it is not something explainable. There was a famous teacher back home. He is no more there. Dr. Kovur. He has written so many books of every encounters he researched and found out what was the cause, and he wrote a beautiful book on that.
Every
Okay.
single encounter.
Yeah. So you cannot generalize. Every encounter you need to approach individually. You cannot generalize ghosts exist on things, every single day. That is second thing. Now, that's why I finished this one. So your photo evidence, there could be an instrument error, perception error, and your direct evidence also, there could be a perception error. Third thing is, I know somebody who saw the ghost. This is a very common story that we can't believe it. Okay, so personal encounter is the one, but there are personal encounters, they are written in the books too. Fourth thing, person who has some ideology, he says, oh, there are ghosts or another, then he will tend to perceive ghosts, even though it is not there, tend to perceive ghosts. Like that, when there's a death in the family, somebody near one, near to you, dear to you died, and you are entering their places, or just after a few days, your thought is dominated by their loss, grief, and it comes in your dreams. You come close and open it, you feel like they are there. When you are eating and sleeping also, you feel their presence sometimes. It's like a created vacuum, but not completely gone away. It's hard to accept the reality. That transition phase, feel their presence. You could feel, oh, they are there. Or some people say, oh, their body smell, I can smell. Some people say, oh, they are sitting on the bed, I could feel that. Another thing. Some people say they make the noise, somebody is climbing the stairs, another thing. So these are the perception, because that state of mind we are. Our mind is already preoccupied with their thoughts, their loss, and their death, and that grief. So they tend to perceive in those things. Okay? So that could be one of the error too.
Just like what you said, that there was a ghost and strangled someone. Well, as I said before, the electromagnetic field. Sometimes the electromagnetic field, actually, if you're caught in one, you could actually feel the ghost or see it. So you can also feel it, because it's actually part of electricity in the air. And if there's electricity bouncing around quickly, it's actually part of it's kind of like an electromagnetic field. And
It's more deeper than that. How we could see. Let's come to how we see the image. I am seeing you. I see you as Vasu, you as Divyan, you as Monali. How I am perceiving it. It depends on, there are some what you call electromagnetic signals, neurochemical transmitters in the brain. So many activities there. So that created. So anything else created a similar phase reaction and make me to perceive those things too, right? Then come to the temporal lobe epilepsy that Divyan thinks. Like it's a brain disorder, people get seizures. It's particular part of the brain, temporal lobe epilepsy. If the temporal lobe is affected, they could smell the things, it's not there. They could feel the thing, they could flicker in lights, another thing. They could go, they sometimes experience bijao phenomena. Remember bijao? It's a phenomena you feel like extremely, oh, I am in this place in the similar circumstances before. You understand?
Oh, deja vu.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's all.
yeah.
So that's because of the temporal lobe disorder. It's not that you really, yes, or you really are, but it's because of the temporal lobe disorder. And illusions, right? Another thing. Then hallucinations. Then some psychiatric disorders, people get hallucinations too. Question? Yeah. So these are things. When does it happen?
I don't know if this is the right time, but it's about for hallucinations, people can, it's like a mirage, like you could say, I see this table, and then all of a sudden, I see a laptop.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is illusion really. When you go in the dark, there's a rope there. You see the rope as a snake. That is illusion. There is somebody there, something is there, but you perceive as a different thing. That is illusion. Hallucination, there's nothing there, but still you perceive as hallucination. There is something there, you perceive as something different, is illusion, But there's nothing there, you perceive something is hallucinations. Okay? Hallucination example happens, yeah, Divya? Where this happens?
In the desert.
Huh?
In the desert mostly when
In the desert, yeah.
because when, if, for example, if you don't have water, and there's no water to be found, you start to hallucinate a little bit, and you see water when nothing's actually there.
There is something different. There's a mirage is what you call it, something like a light reflection. You can explain by the physics, okay? Because when there is a heat there and a light reflection there, it reflects like a water. Like you see like a water surface. That is one thing.
You can see it on streets too. You don't really have to
Yeah.
go to it.
When you're driving, you see there's water there on the front some distance. When it's a sunny day, you will see that. That is a mirage. Another thing is heat stroke. When you're really dehydration, that's true, dehydration, when you are deprived of water, no drinking water, you started seeing the things. And heat stroke, when the extreme heat struck you, you started seeing the things and other things and perceiving the things differently. Same thing with people with alcohol and drugs. Okay, they started seeing and hearing, especially if you habitually become alcoholic or habitual alcoholic, what you call deprived of alcohol few days. If you are the alcoholic, daily drinking alcohol, if you stop alcohol for 3 days, you will start hallucinating. Mainly the tactile. He usually say, oh, so many insects are crawling on my body. He started picking and nothing, but there's nothing. I've seen patients like that. Okay, that is their perception. For them, it is real. You can't deny. And same thing, some of the illnesses like schizophrenia. Have you heard of schizophrenia? It's like a mental illness. People started hallucinating, moving, behaving crazy.
Oh,
Okay.
that's scary.
Yeah. And yeah.
Okay, people on TV show, people say that, well, and on TV there's a show called Mystery Hunters.
That's fake.
No, yeah,
No, not really.
Most of the stuff.
I show the mystery hunters. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Again, the perception. Okay, you want to say something?
Yeah, there were 2 princes in the London Tower, and they called that tower the Bloody Tower.
That's what he mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's in his thing.
Yeah.
And he said that
Evidence is because the evidence, because people saying, okay, that evidence is enough, so they say it is real. Then the other people say, no, no, that evidence is not firm. Okay, that's the thing.
Okay, you know, on Vivian's paper, it said that the Mothman is fake, right? So then, once people said that they would usually see it around this bridge, right? But then once the bridge collapsed, right? And then they thought the Mothman was dead and everything. So then they people, you know, when they were rebuilding the bridge, they had to clear everything out first. So when they were clearing everything out, they found, they didn't find anything. So people said that the Mothman was fake. But then some other, I read a few days ago, it said on this website from this paranormal activity person, right? There were maybe since the Mothman was since when people see it, it's really fast, right? Because so maybe it could have escaped before the bridge, because the bridge wasn't that big, right? It was pretty narrow, and people once it was taken a picture, was on on one side, the corner, so it would easily escape, right? So then maybe it's also because it was going to find a new place to live.
usually when people see ghosts, it's usually at the corners, one of the 4 corners, or at the sides of the picture. They're never usually above the people.
Oh, the centers.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point.